So there were two payments that went directly to Joe Biden from the influence peddling schemes. Both payments came through a laundered process. The money from China started out as the $5 million wire. That was the wire where Hunter Biden sent the WhatsApp message where he said, "My father's sitting beside me." It was just weeks after he left the vice presidency, and said, "We expect those commitments to be fulfilled." So there was evidence of Hunter with his father, according to Hunter, sitting beside him, demanding that the Chinese comply with whatever deal they made while Joe Biden was vice president. Days later, a $5 million wire went through a series of shell companies. One company that I said was not a shell, but it was a corrupt company, was Hunter's law firm, even though he didn't practice law. It was his professional LLC. That LLC then took a fee out of that $5 million transaction. That fee was for $400,000. And then that $400,000 started going down through a series of money laundering, and the bank suspicious activity reports flagged them as this is a money laundering scheme. There's money being laundered through shell companies. And it ends up, the last incremental payment goes to Joe Biden for $40,000. That, ironically, is 10% of Hunter's $400,000. Now, Tony Bobulinski is the one that said 10% for the big guy. Tony Bobulinski came in for both a deposition and a committee hearing. And in the committee hearing, he cited that $40,000 payment, and he said that was the 10%. That was what that deal was supposed to be. He said, but what Tony Bobulinski learned was it wasn't a legitimate business deal. When he signed up to be a part of that, he thought it was really a deal, a real energy company in China. But what he realized was there was no deal. It was just a bribe. That's what Tony Bobulinski said under oath, a bribe to Joe Biden.
But where did the money go? All right, so Biden gets $40K in a suitcase in cash. You put it under his bed. Where'd it go?
It was a check that was deposited into his Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. checking account. Then there was another payment bill.
Wait. So he puts a check in the payment in his checking account. The IRS is flagged on that, anything over $10K. All right, so it goes in. Biden doesn't have that on his tax return, does he?
No.
Oh, that's a felony,
and he disclosed
isn't it?
his taxes. We subpoenaed the bank records, not of Joe Biden. We couldn't get those because he was sitting president of the United States. But we subpoenaed the bank records of the shell companies and of Jim Biden. So the next payment came from a scheme called Americore Health. And this was a Jim Biden deal. That $40,000 that ended up in Joe's account was from the China deal through Hunter. The next one, which was a larger one, was for $200,000. It was a scheme through a domestic scheme called Americore Health through Jim Biden. And it was supposedly a loan from Americore Health, a loan made to Jim Biden for $600,000, a loan that he never repaid. He never paid any interest on. And, the loan was made right before the company filed bankruptcy. So of that $600,000, it was laundered through a series of shells. It went to Jim and Sarah Biden, who both got pardons, their personal account, and then they turn around and write Joe Biden a check for $200,000, and it says in the memo line, loan repayment. Well, we caught this, and the media said, "Oh, it was a loan. It was a loan repayment." I was like, "How do you know it's a loan repayment?" They said, "Because it says it on the memo line, loan repayment." But Bill, if I loan you $200,000 and you pay me back $200,000, you should have evidence that I first loaned you $200,000.
Yeah, the original
Joe
loan
Biden never produced any evidence, and he tried to say both payments were loan repayments.
For what though? I mean, look, it's got to be a contract. And there was no contract. But wait. But let me stop you there. So now you're on the committee now, and you're not going to walk away from this. You're still investigating. All you got to do is hand this over to the IRS because, as I said, none of this appears on Joe Biden's tax returns. All right. So if he gets $40K in his personal account and doesn't declare it as income, that's a felony.
It is.
If he gets a repayment of a loan that wasn't even made, that's fraud.
That's fraud.
So the IRS is the, and you know that under the Biden administration that got investigated, but now under the Trump investigation, it doesn't seem like a complicated process. You hand over that to the IRS, they do due diligence for a month or two, and then the FBI goes to the Biden house in Delaware and arrests them. Where am I going wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. And because of the investigation, those two IRS whistleblowers came forward, Joseph Ziegler and Gary Shapley. They knew about a lot of this because they were investigating the entire Biden family.
Sure. But that's all. I want to move it ahead. All right, we know Garland and the IRS under Joe Biden not going to do any of this. Thank you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on X. Look for @Bill O'Reilly.